It's another Mortgage Monday takeover, and we are back for part 2 of your most frequently asked questions. I'm Salt, I'm joined by Leslie Ann and Keisha right here at Republic Bank to learn more about mortgages. So let's jump right back in, Leslie. This question asks, why does the bank keep my original title deeds?
So the bank will keep your original title deeds until the debt has been fully repaid. And this is just to ensure that the property isn't further mortgaged or sold without the consent of the bank during the term of the mortgage.
Okay, Leslie, why am I required to provide proof of payment of land tax and water rates?
So while the mortgage is between the bank and its customers, the government of Barbados still has the power to sell your property if there are any arrears on the land tax charges or, in some instances, the water charges. Now, of course, if this were to happen, this would jeopardize the security of the bank. So, to mitigate this, the bank has a clause in its mortgage which requires all customers to ensure that these payments are kept up to date. Now, in the event that they are not, the clause also allows the bank to make the payment on the customer's behalf, which has to be subsequently repaid and will be subject to interest.
Okay, thank you for that, Leslie. Keisha, don't think that you've escaped these questions. This question asks, why does the mortgagee require that a boundary status certificate be provided? I think you should even start by telling me what a boundary status certificate even is.
Sure. So a boundary status certificate is prepared by a qualified land surveyor. So it's going to show your boundary lines, and it's also going to show if there are any walls, buildings, trees, shrubs that are encroaching onto your neighbor's property or vice versa. And those are called encroachments. Now, it's important that the bank know whether there are any encroachments because one, it can cause delays in transactions as everyone tries to figure out how do we deal with the encroachment, and two, it can be very expensive. So if you have to remove an entire wall, for instance, it can really add to the cost of the transaction.
Okay, the next question we have here, Leslie, why must the interest of the mortgagee be noted on the property insurance?
So the bank must be noted as the mortgagee on the property insurance, and this is just to ensure that the insurance company is aware that the bank has a financial interest in the property in the event of any destruction. So of course, if the property is destroyed, then the insurance company will pay the monies over to the bank, and the bank will either apply the funds to the mortgage or towards the reconstruction of the property.
So, why are searches done on the property, this person asks?
I'll grab this one. So the bank's attorneys are going to conduct searches at the government registries, usually the land registry and corporate affairs. And what they're searching for is to see whether there's anything that would compromise the title of the property, because you want to have a good and marketable title. And the usual culprits would be a mortgage or statutory charge like the unpaid land taxes. And that's important because if there's a prior lender there, when the bank enforces its security, it would have to pay that lender first, and that could make the entire transaction unprofitable.
So Keisha, what would cause the bank to sell a property?
Well, there are two main reasons. Firstly, the customer's financial situation may have deteriorated, so he may have lost his job. Or secondly, the security may have become compromised or jeopardized. So for instance, we have outstanding land taxes. The main culprit is the customer is no longer able to pay his mortgage payments as they become due.
And the last question I have here for you guys, does the mortgagee sell the property for only what is owed to it?
So that is a myth, popular myth, but it is a myth. And I can assure you that the bank is required by law to sell the property for its market value. And that may not be what's on the land tax bill or the valuation, but it's what someone is willing to pay for the property.
Well, I hope that this answers some of your burning mortgage questions, but you can always contact the team at Republic Bank if you have more questions or ask them down below in the comment section. I want to thank Keisha and Leslie Ann so much for joining us this episode of Mortgage Mondays.